Hey everybody, Dr. Erin here, and today's topic on toxicity is milk. So milk is something that's kind of become a staple in American kitchens, and unfortunately the milk that most people are buying is actually considered toxic, in my opinion, to their bodies. And so I want to just briefly discuss dairy milk specifically. And I just read a pretty disturbing article about living conditions for cows that are producing milk that's then being distributed on a large scale. And the living conditions are so bad that normally cows would succumb to disease just living in filthy conditions, just like humans living in filthy conditions, can tend to spread disease more quickly and suffer from things that we don't otherwise suffer from. But cows in particular are having to be given antibiotics to fend off diseases. And, we've also discussed that antibiotics are used to fatten the cow so that it either produces more meat, more milk, whatever it is. But they're also, because of their living conditions, are actually being given painkillers is something that I read as well, just to keep them numb until their time has come. So between painkillers, antibiotics, and now growth hormones, which also serve to plump up the cow, those things are highly toxic, not only to the animal, but also research has shown now that scientists found actually in a small sample of cow's milk, conventional cow's milk, there was remnants of 20 different painkillers, growth hormones, and antibiotics in just a small sample of cow's milk. So that proves that now humans are ingesting that when they drink the cow's milk, even if it is pasteurized. And this was actually, samples were taken from pasteurized milk. So it doesn't, the pasteurization doesn't actually get rid of the drugs. It's actually just getting rid of the nasty stuff that you don't want to probably hear about, but just to give you an idea, pus, blood, things that make it into the milk. And it's just mind-blowing. So I don't want to get too much into that. If that's not enough reason to make you switch to at least organic milk, our family has really tried to stay away from dairy as much as possible unless we're getting high quality butter or cheese. But we really don't consume animal milk in any capacity anymore. And I grew up drinking a ton of milk a day, probably 3 glasses of conventional milk a day, but subsequently I was also very sick growing up. So I wanted to talk to you briefly about some alternatives to milk, and that is, to start with, is organic almond milk. And this is, I know it's backwards here, but this is Pacific organic almond milk that's unsweetened. It's flavored with vanilla, and this is an almond milk that we use, I wouldn't say sparingly, but we don't use it in every day, but we will use it to spruce up like Dr. Ryan's blueberry treat that you hear us talk about, something that really curbs his sugar cravings if we're ever trying to do the advanced plan long term and he's craving sugar, or if he's been working out hard and his body just needs more calories, he'll just do a small bowl of almond milk with organic blueberries, frozen blueberries, and some almond butter, and maybe a little bit of raw honey on there, just to get him through after a big workout. But we'll use this almond milk, and I get that on Amazon. You can also find really decent almond milk, at Pilgrim's Market. And then we have kind of stopped using the almond breeze just because it's not organic. And what I'm finding in my research is that almonds tend to have a little higher pesticide load. So you really want to stick to organic almonds, organic almond products when you can. So we have shied away from this, even though it is unsweetened. We'll use it, like I said, sparingly if we need to. The thing about these nut milks is that when you buy them packaged like this, if you're not making them your own, they do have other ingredients. And some of the ingredients that you want to watch out for, one, are sweeteners. So most of these, unless they specifically say unsweetened on the package, they will have a sweetener in it. So most of the time it's, it may market itself as being organic cane sugar, raw cane sugar. Even though that sounds okay, it's still sugar. And we know that sugar's effect on the body is long-term is not something that we want. And that'll be a discussion for a different video. So we want to stay away from sugar. The next thing that we look for are fillers. So carrageenan, that's something that has been a little bit controversial in discussion as of recently, and that's a filler that some studies show that it's actually not very good for the body. Other people think it's just fine if used in moderation. I don't really want my kids consuming that on a regular basis. So, if you're wanting to put milk into like your smoothie in the morning, which is something that we used to do all the time before switching just to filtered water in our smoothies, then I would suggest making your own milk, and that's super easy. You can do that. Otherwise, there are some really decent brands of non-dairy milks. I don't recommend soy really in any form of milk. Soy tends to be genetically modified in many situations. So I stay away from it completely. Fermented soy products I think are great. Organic fermented soy is perfectly wonderful for the body, but in terms of what we're talking about with the milk, I would stay away from it. It can be an estrogen mimicker that can wreak havoc on your hormones, and so we just stay away from it. So to really just give you a quick idea of what I do to make my own almond milk, it's very, very simple, and I know I've posted the recipe to our website, but I soak raw organic almonds overnight in water in a mason jar with a ventilated top. You could just put a paper towel over the top. And then once they've soaked for 24 hours, then I can put them into a blender with a specific amount of water, blend it up, and then strain it through cheesecloth. And then add whatever I want, whether it's stevia, you could add honey if you wanted to, cinnamon, vanilla extract, just to make it taste the way you want it to. And I'll keep that, in a big mason jar for the week, and I'll use that sometimes to make smoothies for my daughters. So that's just another option for you. It's really not as daunting as a lot of people may think. I used to be intimidated by the fact of making my own almond milk, but it's pretty easy. So that is a kitchen topic for you today. We discussed milk, and I hope it was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, as always, you can email me at Erin@maximizelivingsummit.com. Have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.